ask me anything, and I'll help you find your way for adventuring. This could be our lucky day, never fear, my dear, if the answer isn't plain to see. Cross-reference.
Hi everyone, I'm Ingrid Edstrom.
And I'm Penny, the practical professional.
And we're here on Ask a Bookkeeper today because Penny was asking me a very important question. She wanted to know how I got started in networking in my business. And I was telling her about my journey with BNI, how BNI, Business Network International, really helped me understand how to get rolling in business. And she was asking me to adapt some of these ideas to her pie shop. So our question today is for Dr. Ivan Misner, the founder of BNI. Welcome, Ivan, to the show. We wanted to get some more information from you on how we can adapt some of these ideas specifically to Penny's business as a pie shop owner. Thanks so much for joining us.
Right. Hi, Ivan.
Hello. Hey, it's my pleasure to be on. I have never been interviewed by a puppet, so this is definitely different for me.
Well, I've never been interviewed by an international networking CEO either.
Well, then we're both even. So you're asking how can she use networking to build her pie shop?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I have a small pie shop here in town, and I already market a little bit to local businesses, local grocery stores and such, some restaurants, but then most of my business comes from walk-in. And so I'm wondering, how would somebody in that situation ask for a referral?
From a networking perspective, it's about getting out and being visible in the community, creating relationships with people. And then as you build the relationships, ask for referrals. It's also, I think, a great technique in any kind of retail shop to recognize people who have given you referrals. Now, this is a crazy concept, but I'm telling you, it works. I remember I went to a chiropractic office once, and he had on his wall a plaque that said, "We want to thank the following patients who referred patients to us last month." Well, in one of the months that I went to see this chiropractor, I gave him a referral. And I went in that month, right after I gave him the referral, I looked and there was my name up on the plaque. And I thought, wow, that's kind of cool. I went back the next month and I looked up on the wall. I didn't give him a referral that month, and my name was no longer on the plaque. And I thought, gee, I wonder who I could give as a referral to get my name back up on the plaque. Now, it's silly. But it works. Recognition is a motivator. And so one out of many techniques that you can do to help get more referrals is to recognize the customers who give you referrals.
Oh, well, that makes a lot of sense, really. I could easily have like an important customer wall board, people who give me referrals, or if they bring in a friend, maybe.
What else do you sell in your pie shop? Anything else? Any small thing?
Yeah, there's drinks, of course. We also have tea and coffee, so maybe you buy a pie or a slice of pie and you get a free coffee.
Now that's better, I think, because you're not discounting. And I'm guessing that you have fantastic pies, and so I wouldn't want to discount what you have. But value add is great with referrals.
That's some potent stuff.
So I have a question for you, Ivan. I've been involved with BNI for many years. These ideas really expanded in my mind to the next level when I read The Go-Giver by Bob Burg and John David Mann. The fifth law of stratospheric success that they talk about in The Go-Giver is the law of receptivity, and the idea of it's not just what goes around comes around, but in order to properly be able to give of ourselves, we first must be open to receiving. And I'm wondering what strategies you might be able to suggest to get past that limiting belief and get to the point where we can be comfortable asking for referrals. Because I know that a lot of people are really hesitant to ask for help, particularly for referrals, to put themselves out there. What do you recommend for people who are experiencing that kind of anxiety?
I think the best way to feel more comfortable asking is to first give. So that you're giving referrals to people, you're supporting people. And then when you recognize that you have poured in to someone and you have helped them, that's the time where you have to say to yourself, okay, I've poured in a great deal of time and effort. It's time for me to ask.
Yeah.
It's okay to make a withdrawal.
Right.
It's just like going to the bank and making a withdrawal. It's time and it's okay to ask.
So what do you do with the relationships where you feel like you're constantly giving and giving and giving, but it's just not reciprocated?
Great question. So here's what I recommend you do. I would do a one-to-one with each of the people that you feel you had that situation with. I would sit down with them, go to the pie shop and have a piece of pie. And I would review all the referrals you've given them. That's how I would start. I mean, I'd start by asking them how things are going, how they're enjoying their networking meetings or whatever, warm it up a little bit, and then pull out a sheet of every single referral you've given them and say, I'm curious, how did that work out? And the second one, how did that work out? And this third one, where does that stand? How did that? So you get them to answer. Now, what you don't do is you say, look at all the referrals I've given you. You haven't given me any. So instead, you're asking them, how is it going? Are the referrals I'm giving you legitimate? Have they worked out? You might be surprised to find out they didn't work out at all. Now you should take a different approach, because if you haven't helped them, and maybe they're bad referrals and you didn't know it and they were afraid to tell you, who knows? You got to ask. Then when you ask and you get the answer, generally speaking, it's going to be that they worked out. That's when it's okay for you to say, I would appreciate if maybe we could have a conversation about how I can help you to give me some referrals so that we can reciprocate in these referrals. Now you have laid it up so gently by showing them everything you've given them and saying it would be helpful if you could also pass referrals my way, and maybe we could talk about how you can do that. It's a very constructive way of dealing with what could be a difficult issue.
Yep, it's gentle yet assertive. It's not aggressive or passive aggressive. It's just straightforward and good communication. Ivan, if there was one main takeaway, an action item that we could offer to the small business owners watching this podcast, what would that be?
Well, it would be kind of a conceptual big action item, actually, and that is that the most important thing I have learned in the 32 years of running the world's largest face-to-face networking organization. You know the expression, it's not what you know, it's who you know? It's not what you know or who you know. It's how well you know each other that counts. I think from a networking perspective, that's the single most important factor. And people just constantly forget that. They just dive into face-to-face cold calling and they don't understand it.
Wow. So a relationship is not unlike a pie. You got to get past the crust to find out what kind it is.
Penny, honestly, I never thought we'd have this interview where you would say something that just blew me away. Congratulations. That was perfect. Yeah,
Oh,
I
thank
agree.
you.
I may even borrow it, Penny. A relationship is like a pie. You have to get through the crust.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to quote you, Penny.
Please do. Just cite me.
All right, I will.
Well, thanks so much, Ivan. So I want to encourage our entire audience out there to step outside the box a little bit and see how you can maybe make some of your relationships deeper. And if you don't have enough relationships, one of the best ways to get started is to join a networking group, particularly a hard networking group like BNI, Business Network International. And there are chapters all over the world. And it certainly does not hurt to visit. In my experience, I've been to many BNI chapters. Not every chapter was a fit for me because each chapter has its own unique culture. And so visit several BNI chapters and see if you can find one that feels like home, where the people there naturally resonate.
I think that's great advice, Ingrid. Thanks for adding that. There are places too where you can get support. If you're a BNI member, BNIpodcast.com, great content there. IvanMisner.com, great blog content. Everything up there is free. And of course, if you're interested in BNI, go to BNI.com or to Facebook. My public page is facebook.com/IvanMisner.BNIfounder, or just do a search. You can't get on my private page, it's full, but you can get on my public page.
Wonderful. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Ivan. We really appreciate it.
It's been great. Yeah.
My pleasure. It has been the most unique interview that I've ever done, and a good one. I've enjoyed it as well, and I appreciate you inviting me. All right, you guys take care.
Thank you so much, Ivan.
Thank you.
It was nice meeting you, Penny. See you,
Nice
Ingrid.
meeting you too. Bye.
Bye.
Never mind the ones who tell you you're too big and bold and bright. Ask me anything, and I'll help you find your way for adventuring. This could be our lucky day.